Mike Davis joins us live from New York City, where he's covering the trial, the first criminal trial of a president in all of U.S. history. Now, Mike, you obviously have been giving us the ins and outs of what's going to be coming ahead. You've been forecasting this for over a year at this point. Today is the day. Tell us, were there any surprises that you found or that you've seen so far in any of these early? I understand preliminary rulings are underway, and then jury selection is about to begin.
Well, it's not surprising that President Trump is not going to get a fair trial here in New York in this first criminal prosecution ever of a former president and likely future president by this George Soros-funded Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg. He brought this bogus legal theory against President Trump. He's taking what are, at best, time-barred bookkeeping misdemeanors from 7 years ago, and I don't even think they're bookkeeping misdemeanors, but at best. And these have been transformed into 34 felony counts against a likely president of the United States during the 2024 election season. And so this legal theory was passed over by the prior Manhattan DA, the Manhattan U.S. Attorney, the Federal Election Commission, and Alvin Bragg himself until Matthew Colangelo got deployed from the Biden Justice Department, the number 3 in the Biden Justice Department, a senior political appointee to bring this zombie case against Trump. It's obviously lawfare. It's obviously election interference. And you have this Manhattan Democrat judge, Juan Merchan, who donated to Biden versus Trump in 2020. He donated to another anti-Trump cause in 2020. His adult daughter, Lauren, is a leading Democrat consultant and fundraiser who has raised over nearly $100 million off of this criminal trial over which her father's presiding. Judge Juan Merchan has a clear conflict of interest requiring his recusal under New York law because of his adult daughter's financial stake in this criminal prosecution. He has refused. You have a jury pool here in Manhattan that voted 85% against Donald Trump. There is no chance in hell that Trump's going to get a fair trial.
I mean, it's incredible to me that you're gonna find 14 people in New York City that don't have an opinion on Donald Trump. Really, 14 people, and just absolutely ridiculous to me that on its face that people could think that there could be any fair trial here. Tell me, Mike Davis, about this ruling that we're hearing, and the Post-Millennial has the headline up now that says that President Trump apparently requested to take off some time from the trial, or potentially even just these preliminary days, because his son Barron has a graduation coming up, and Judge Merchan threatened Trump with arrest if he isn't in court every single day of the trial. Is that true? What's going on here?
Yeah, this is insane that this is happening, and it just shows you how clearly biased and partisan this Democrat Manhattan judge Juan Merchan is. Again, he is clearly anti-Trump. He donated to Biden. His adult daughter has a clear financial stake. One thing you should know about this judge is he also has a juror questionnaire. And in this juror questionnaire, to figure out who the potential jurors are going to be on this trial, there are 2 million people in Manhattan. And this judge is asking these potential jurors if they are following Trump on social media, if they're associated with his campaign in any way, but he's not asking if any of these potential jurors are following President Biden or associated with President Biden's campaign. It's just this whole process is clearly rigged against President Trump. There's no question that President Trump is going to be found guilty and convicted under these bogus charges. They'll get eventually reversed on an appeal, maybe even to the Supreme Court of the United States, but that won't happen before November 5th, 2024. And that's the whole point of this. So Democrats can convict, they can imprison, they can bankrupt, they can disqualify, they can destroy President Trump before November 5th, 2024, because these Democrat prosecutors, these Democrat attorneys, these Democrat judges, these Democrat operatives, and these Democrat hellholes like New York, D.C., and Atlanta fear American voters.
And that's really what it's all about, because you've been talking about for so long how they were trying to do everything they could to get at least one of these cases up before the election. And we should probably ask why I have you here. So we know this case is going. Is it true that this case is planning to go through June? Is that what we're hearing? That essentially President Trump will be barred from essentially being on the campaign trail every single day until June? That's a huge bombshell if that's true.
Yeah, they're saying that it could be up to 8 weeks. This judge has court Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I guess if Trump wants to leave Tuesday evening and come back Wednesday night so he can be in court on Thursday morning, that's going to be Trump's campaign schedule between now and 8 weeks from now, maybe even longer. They say it's going to only take 2 weeks for jury selection. I think it's going to take longer than that because it's going to be very hard to get a jury that's not biased. But, frankly, maybe Judge Juan Merchan, this Democrat Manhattan judge who donated to Biden in another anti-Trump cause and whose daughter is making a ton of money off of this criminal prosecution of Trump, clearly should recuse. And he refuses to do that. In fact, when Trump raises this evidence of this judge's bias, or at least appearance of bias, how does the Democrat judge respond? He puts an illegal, unconstitutional gag order on President Trump. We keep talking about third world Marxist hellholes. Judge Juan Merchan is a banana republic judge.
And so I'm looking at some of the rulings that have come out just now. Juan Merchan, obviously, as you say, he has refused to recuse himself. That's number one. Karen McDougal, someone who also was involved with this National Enquirer alleged catch and kill operation, blah, 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 from 2016, will potentially be testifying if they call her. She's allowed to be. But then also Merchan ruled prosecutors cannot play the Access Hollywood tape, which apparently the DA wanted to bring in. I have no idea what that has to do with this case, but they wanted to play the Access Hollywood tape. And then finally, that they will not allow mentions of Melania Trump and his wife and talking about how the pregnancy with Barrett. Mike Davis, none of those things seem, again, we're talking about a campaign finance violation. It's supposed to be what this trial's about, right?
And what's so crazy about this whole legal theory, again, that was passed over by the prior Manhattan DA, Cy Vance, the Manhattan U.S. Attorney, the Federal Election Commission, and Bragg himself, until Colangelo got deployed from the Biden Justice Department. They're saying that these bookkeeping violations for Trump somehow committed a misdemeanor for settling a nuisance claim back before 2016. They put it in the books in 2017, but somehow when they put it in the books in 2017, that was somehow a campaign finance violation from 2016. This is an insane legal theory. This is clear lawfare. This is clear election interference. Prior to the trial starting, the New York Times and the Washington Post pointed out how weak and absurd this case is. They're going to change their tune, of course, because they're partisan hacks, but this is the weakest of these 4 criminal prosecutions against Trump. And when the American people tune into this and see that they're trying to imprison the leading presidential candidates for the rest of his life instead of facing him on November 5th, 2024, this is not going to end well for Democrats. This is not going to end well for Biden, who's been leading this lawfare against Trump. It's going to make President Trump Nelson Mandela. It's going to put President Trump back in the White House.
Do you think we could see President Trump behind bars as an element of this?
I think that they will look. Yes, I do. Now, there is a federal statute that the Secret Service must protect a former president for the rest of his life. And so if they try to put him in prison, which I could see this Democrat prosecutor and this Democrat judge in Manhattan doing this, Bragg and this Juan Merchan, I could see them trying to do this. They would have to literally clear out a wing of a jail to have enough protections in there for President Trump. So they will look, this is part of their pattern. They are taking violent felons in New York City and downgrading those charges to misdemeanors or even dismissing them altogether. And then they're taking this time-barred, at best, bookkeeping misdemeanor from 7 years ago, turning that into 34 felonies and trying to imprison Trump for the rest of his life. This is the most anti-democratic thing imaginable. These are republic-ending tactics by Democrats.
Republic destroying tactics at that. Mike Davis, thank you for doing the yeoman's work. We'll leave you back to it. Folks, he's there, New York City, giving you the skinny, the inside story of what's happening, trial of a presidency.